times. So our senior Sunday theme of God providing for us is a very optimistic approach regarding our relationship with God. Unfortunately, I'm a pessimist. So if you know me, Ecclesiastes, I live and die. I live by Ecclesiastes. So I kind of would like to approach God's provision from the angle of how God provides us with conflict and pain. When I was growing up, I had this idealistic view of Christianity. I believed that it was just checking boxes. Check the box of praying, reading your Bible, and coming to church. And I thought, because I didn't do these things enough, maybe that's why pain and conflict were coming my way. In retrospect, those conflicts and that pain would have been in my life regardless of what boxes I checked. So I think that conflict and pain that I endured helped me to question the truth in my relationship with God. It helped me to look past the routine, look past checking boxes, and experience what a constantly fluctuating relationship with God actually looked like. An example of when God provided conflict in my life was when I first moved to Abilene. Let me tell you guys, I did not want to be here. Living in Oklahoma was really comfortable. I was surrounded by friends, and I don't think I was ever really stretched to do anything out of my comfort zone. So when I moved, I didn't want to go to church anymore because none of my friends were going. Fortunately, my parents kept forcing me to come back. And eventually, something really struck whenever I saw people raising their hands in worship. Back in my old church, my comfort kept me complacent in my faith. Maybe it was also, because I was like 10 and chubby. So, however, seeing the vulnerability of lifting one's hands up, seeing the worship driving true passion for God was incredible to me. I don't think that I could have ever experienced that if it wasn't for the conflict of moving here, if it wasn't for the conflict of coming to church even when I didn't want to. It helped me to experience what a connection with God was actually like, rather than just going to church for friends. And of course, I've made some really good friends here, there. And Highland, I would just like to thank you for that. A story that came to my mind when I was writing this sermon is the story of Job. Because he was a blameless and upright man who was blessed with wealth, Satan, as Satan does, questioned his devotion to God. Suffering was then brought upon Job in order for Job to have his true faith questioned and stretched. Does Job reject God as soon as everything is taken away from him? While he is on an emotional roller coaster, he still remains faithful to God. So while we may not be rewarded like Job was on this physical earth for our faithfulness to God, our persistent faith through conflict, through pain, store a reward in heaven that is unimaginable. To further my point, according to Aristotle, pain rather than pleasure drives moral progress. God provides many opportunities for us to experience pain for the sake of our self-improvement. Whether that comes in the form of moving to a new town, getting rejected by a girl, which happens a lot to me. It's not that funny. Or, the death of a loved one. I can't say that. So I've found that when I'm removed from the comfortable thoughts that I experience on a day-to-day basis and am exposed to the difficulties that face real life, I begin to have conflict. This conflict leads to my questioning and understanding of my understanding of God. And when we have questions, we will look for answers. Finding answers to those questions can sharpen one's mind for God. When our faith can withstand conflict, I believe that it becomes more solidified. It becomes more than just a routine. I know many people here have had conflicts. However, there's a reason that you still keep coming back through the conflict. Conflicts force us to reach out to God because sometimes it seems outside of God, no one can help us. The inflow of thoughts and emotions from conflict contribute to our continued seeking, questioning, and discernment. Many of you have probably heard, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. What if it is broke? How do we fix it to become better, stronger, and sharper? Throughout all of the Old Testament, there's constant suffering and constant fluctuation with the relationship with God. The name Israel literally means wrestling with God. I believe that without the valleys in your faith, there can be no mountains. To reiterate Psalm 23:4, even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil, for you are with me, your rod and your staff, they comfort me. Highland, I challenge you to embrace the conflict in your life and ask yourself, what can I learn from this?
Good morning, church. I'm going to move up here.